Yeah, it's so important. And, Peter and the great team at JEA, they really found the first original story. Democrats today say they're all against Russia, Russia, Russia. But in 2009, they were the Russia lovers. They were resetting. They were taking $500,000 speech fees. They had John Podesta's company getting Russian backing. Everybody was making out great with Russia until it invaded Ukraine. If it weren't for GAI and Peter Schweitzer, we probably wouldn't have known that part of the story.
We wouldn't know that part of the story. We wouldn't know the words like Skolkovo, which is basically Russia's effort to create their own Silicon Valley, which, as you noted, paid companies that brought on John Podesta. And so ultimately what happened is this reporting was so far-reaching. And, I traveled to Haiti as part of the research team for Clinton Cash and talked about how Hillary's brother made money off of a Haitian gold mine. I mean, the Clintons were so shameless, John. Making money in Haiti and in Russia. Only the Clintons have that far-reaching tentacles of, basically a global ATM. But they realized, hey, we have a real problem. And so what they did is they used their campaign attorney Mark Elias, who is his own walking scandal machine, and they hired Fusion GPS, and they fabricate this whole Russian narrative. And then that Russian narrative was used to attempt to deny Donald Trump the 2016 election, and then, of course, successfully was used to deny him the 2020 election, because, as we now know, thanks to the reporting about an FBI gag order, they said, oh, this is Russian disinformation. So this Russian story has stuck with Trump campaign, but because of your work and the work that we've done here at the Government Accountability Institute, we now know is totally fabricated.
Eric, I want to ask you, we're talking at the top of the show about Stephen Halper and his role as a confidential human source and what certainly appears to be either being egregiously wrong or lying about General Flynn. What motivation would the FBI have to keep someone like that on the payroll, to continue using them to glean information, to glean sourcing from investigations? Why would they keep someone like that?
Yeah, I think 3 letters, TDS, and it's Trump derangement syndrome. Clearly, it doesn't matter if the information is correct. I mean, what is the ultimate story and the lesson from the Russiagate fiasco? It doesn't matter if the information is true if we like the meaning that it imparts and we like the impact it has politically. So the fact that this guy's making $1.8 million, even though he's clearly not telling the truth, I mean, look at some of the information we now know because of the work that's been done in the Hunter Biden investigation. They overlooked whistleblowers and testimony. People are saying, look, I was on the phone with Hunter Biden and Ukrainian executives who said Joe Biden wanted to be bribed, and that information was overlooked. Meanwhile, people like this are straight taking cash from U.S. intelligence officials despite a track record of dishonesty or inaccuracy at best. It just speaks to how deep-seated the deep state effort to block a Trump presidency and candidacy was.
Yeah, such a great point. And it also shows how lucrative that snitching for the government, being a confidential human source or informant, as we call them, can be. $1.2 million going back to 1991, 70 or 80 grand just to do some conversations for the FBI in 2016 and 17 related to Russia collusion. You get this sense that they know there was a problem with Stephen Halper's story, allegation. You might have been wrong, might not have been, but normally that becomes a reliability issue. Normally there's a process called the validation process that goes back and decides, should we keep using a guy like this? That requires the input that that he didn't tell an accurate story. But when you go through the validation reports that have been released here, Eric, there's no mention of the fact that he had a problem with the story, and they just keep passing him down the line for more informing. Seems like confidential human sources are still a weak spot for the FBI.
Yeah, I guess the information is only as good as the accuracy of the people that are relaying it. No, you're absolutely right. This is a big problem for the FBI. It's one of the reasons why I think your book with Shameless was so important. And I think that, look, we've now seen subsequent emails come out and say, you have FBI officials, as you well know, say, look, we'll do anything to essentially stop Donald Trump. We excuse behavior as long as we deem the political impact to be correct. Remember, just going back to Clinton Cash for a second, the reporting we had on Hillary Clinton's relationship with Russia wasn't just stuff that was in that book. That information was given to the New York Times, the Washington Post, Bloomberg, ABC News. Those are legitimate mainstream outlets, and they all built upon it and independently reported on it. And then only after Donald Trump was elected, partly because of the information in Clinton Cash, did all of those mainstream news outlets essentially do a public mea culpa, a gnashing of teeth, a wearing of sackcloth, and said, I can't believe we were used by this duplicitous Government Accountability Institute, even though the information that we reported was absolutely correct, unlike the information of these confidential informants. But because the net effect of the information was undesirable politically, we were shunned. Meanwhile, fraudulent FBI informants are elevated. It just speaks to how broken the economy from an information and political standpoint is in our intelligence agencies.